Hi, my name's Eric, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk again about Aurora. A while ago I analyzed infections of a different kind step 1, and since then I received many requests to analyze step 2, and as with step 1, I have already listened to this album and I really enjoyed it, so in lieu of my typical reaction video, I am going to be jumping right into the lyrics and breaking them down. Before I dive into my analysis, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Aurora song is. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week, and hit the bell icon to be notified when my videos go live. Without further ado, track number 1 is The River. This song is about not bottling up your emotions, but letting them out. On the pre-chorus, she says, "You are caught in a wire and soon it will burst." Aurora uses a lot of natural images to talk about human nature and human relationships, but here the wire is an unnatural image. It's like an animal being caught in a barbed wire fence, the natural being stifled by the unnatural. Here, emotions are the organic, and stifling your emotions is artificial. So what she's saying is, it's natural to show your emotions, and beyond that, it's immutable. Eventually, the wire will burst, and your emotions will come out one way or another. On the chorus, she says, "You can cry drinking your eyes, so the tears are like drinking water. They fuel life." And of course, the tears turn into a river, again as a life force, but also telling us about the power of expressing emotion. On the second verse, when she is looking for warmth and says, "Stitch your skin onto my skin and we won't be alone," she's inviting her lover to share in this emotion. So emotion isn't a solitary experience, but a communal one that culminates in the image of the ocean on the bridge. So underneath that metaphor, she's encouraging her listeners to be open about their emotions and to share in it and to celebrate it. So underneath that metaphor, she is telling her listeners to be open about their emotions, to share it, to celebrate in it, and to feel empowered by it. Track number 2 is Animal, and she opens this song by saying, "You are the victim of my love. I dangle up on rooftops before I push you off." Assuming this isn't just about a toxic relationship where she is pushing her lover away, this is about the exhilaration of new love, the sort of pit in your stomach thrill of standing on a ledge or at the precipice of a new love. Whereas she expressed strength in those lyrics, she's weaker like a deer when she says, "I stand at the headlights looking for a corner where I can be found." But beyond just feeling overwhelmed and in danger, this image connects back to the image of the wire on the river and the natural-unnatural dichotomy that it established. A deer in the headlights, or really any animal, is another image like an animal being caught in a barbed wire fence. Introducing a wild animal to the unfamiliar setting of a street inevitably introduces the unknown, and it introduces danger. So this landscape of love is unfamiliar and risky, and the love is necessarily entangled with the risk. So this landscape of love is unfamiliar and risky, and the love is necessarily entangled with the danger. She explains this on the chorus when she says, "I'm an animal, hunting for an animal, hunting for love, killing for pleasure, lost in a concrete jungle." She's out of her element, as we know from the cliche of the concrete jungle. But again, the description of basically dating as a hunt and the label of an animal implies something about human nature, that it sows these relationships with risk and with the potential for harm. Finally, on the second verse, she weaves in a message about gender, tying back to her earlier song Queendom when she says, "You never really leave. I keep the memories alive. The weight upon my shoulders felt so divine." This could be interpreted as her saying that there is a burden on women in relationships, like in the river, to store and convey feeling or emotion. In other words, her role as a woman in this relationship is to be the rock, and if we connect that back to the river, then part of that role is to have emotional strength. Track number 3 is Dance on the Moon, and on the first verse, Aurora says, "This voice is calling for a touch to be undone. I hope love will come to us again," and this definitely sounds like a breakup. On the last song, she talked about a touch as her and her lover uniting physically and emotionally, and here that union is being undone with the separation of this touch. It is being broken up. And that's why she says she hopes that love will come again. It'll come back to them, just maybe not together. This breakup also makes sense when the nature of the relationship was violent, conflicted, and tense on Animal. She asks, "Will I float or will I drown?" And we seem to get an answer on the chorus with the image of dancing on the moon, implying that she feels liberated by this breakup. Then on the second verse, she complicates the celebration when she says, "I dance as I'm falling, but I never touch the ground." So even as she's celebrating and dancing, she is falling. She is being weighed down by the gravity of the situation. Even as she is resisting this falling by dancing, she admits that one day she will hit the ground and explode. She wonders when she hits the ground, when reality hits, if she'll laugh or cry. So it feels like the image of dancing on the moon then is indicative of numbness or denial. The pain hasn't hit her yet, but when it does and the catharsis of this relationship ending arrives, she's not sure how she'll feel about it. Maybe she doesn't even know how she feels about this relationship ending at all. Track number 4 is Daydreamer, and this, like River, is another AURORA thesis statement song, where she is announcing her values as an artist and the message she wants to share with her listeners. Here, she's saying that we, likely she and her legion of warriors, yes, that is her fandom name, and yes, I looked it up, will resist the complacency of modern life and become dreamers. She opens the song by talking about these silicon eyes that watch storms and sit quietly. We've got the artificial and technological again with silicon, so the complacency of sitting quietly and not taking part in this natural force of the storm has replaced their organic nature. On the pre-chorus, she reintroduces the gender dimension of her music when she says, "I know I'm just a girl, but can I change lives?" Again, the answer will inevitably be yes. And this is another message that she wants to share as an artist. On the chorus, she says, "We should be daydreamers and moonwalkers and dream talkers, embracing the aspirational euphoria of the earlier image of dancing on the moon." On the second verse, she says, "The quiet lust belongs to all of us and drives us closer to the madness of the world of a girl." She expands on the first verse here by suggesting, first, that the complacency itself and the stifling nature of it pushes people to want to break free, and second, that this specifically affects girls and women who are put in social conditions that force them into quietness, complacency, and waiting like she did on Animal. Track number 5 is Hunger. Here, it feels like she's talking about consumerism and how it creates a public that can never be satisfied. It is literally and figuratively endless consumption. She says she's looking for something new in the skin of an avatar, once again applying an artifice to the body. And grammatically, this can go different ways. Has she stepped into this skin and out into this system looking for satisfaction within it? Or is she trying to peel back the facade and find the truth that's underneath? On the chorus, she says, "All we ever had is hunger, all we never get is power." It's like being force-fed, and specifically being force-fed a system of consumerism that necessarily creates perpetual dissatisfaction. Later, she says, "Imagine all the naked people under work machines," and just like the image of the avatar, again, she's applying an artifice to the human body, but here specifically, it is associated with work, with drudgery, with labor. So part of the artifice isn't just consuming, but also producing. It's the whole system. Track number 6 is Soulless Creatures. On this song, AURORA is torn apart, and it feels like it's a result of the relationship she had on Animal. It's another breakup song with her saying, "Give me a piece of your heart, give me a piece of your hands as we go." Pretty standard breakup signs. On the first chorus, she says, "All the pieces of my body are gone," and whereas she sanctified her body on earlier songs, here she feels desecrated. She ties it back to Animal on the second verse when she says she is hunting for a victim. Then on the second chorus when she says, "I got pieces of your hate in my soul." And then finally on the third chorus when she says, "I can't find anything to save our kind." What's happening here is that this partner, this ex, has infected AURORA with their violence that we established on Animal, and now AURORA feels like it is part of her. And she associates herself with those negative attributes by saying that we are two of a kind, when we know that it is really just the toxicity of her ex rubbing off on her. So it affects her perception of herself. Track number 7 is In Bottles, and on the first verse she returns to the imagery of the river when she says, I put my tears in bottles, and if I ever get thirsty, will they make me sad forever? Again, the tears, the release of emotion, can be healthy and regenerative, but she questions that. On the chorus, she says, "Cover your eyes, hide me inside, under your spine." This obviously could be interpreted in different ways, but on other songs when she talks about the eyes, it often has to do with control. Then when she says to hide her under the spine, I think of the spine as an image of strength. Like if you say someone is spineless, you're saying that they are weak. So maybe she wants to be this partner's support, like part of their strength like she was on Animal. Later when she says, "I watch you sleep with open eyes," we have another reversal of an image from Animal, where here they both feel the need to watch each other. There's insecurity, a lack of trust, and again a feeling of danger. Track number 8 is the title track, A Different Kind of Human. This song takes a similar perspective to Björk's Human Behavior, with an outsider like an alien or an anthropologist observing humans and being like, huh. The chorus is full of sci-fi green alien language like, "We are coming in peace," and the mention of a mothership, note the gendering of the spacecraft. And she returns to the mode of speaking to an outsider when she says, "This world you live in is not a place for someone like you," and later, "It's time to go, you are infected." The language of infection is odd because she's saying that this person is special, but infection as an idea often has a negative connotation. But of course, on her earlier song, Infections of a Different Kind, the infection she's talking about is the pain of a world that's been overtaken by artificiality and boredom. So the alien voice here isn't saying, "You're different, you need to be quarantined," that's weird timing, but that you need to be rehabilitated from that suffering. Track number 9 is Apple Tree, and to Aurora, the central image of this song represents constancy and purpose, which reflects in the vein of, for instance, the giving tree, an impulse to provide. And what she's providing is, arguably in a biblical way, knowledge that skin is a word, love is not a sin, people are bad, people are good, and so on. She says she wants to care for the children of a heart and to be the mother of a heart's children, which I guess suggests that she wants to be the heart or embody the heart. And then she introduces the image of a sword on the second verse when she says, "You cannot cut away what we've got. You cannot kill what we are." So the spirit that she embodies and that she models cannot be destroyed and transcends any physical form. And she says if she had a sword or a knife, she would guide it to cut into our anger, make pure emotion. She wants to channel our collective pain and make it productive. So when she says on the chorus, "Let her save the world, let him save the world," it's another call to action for her fans. Track number 10 is The Seed, and this is another environmental story. She has the motivational element when she says, "Through dirt and shadow I grow, I'm reaching light through the struggle, just like the seed." So she's back in apple tree mode, pushing forward in her natural state. On the chorus, she says, "You cannot eat money when the last tree has fallen and the rivers are poisoned, so we are returning to hunger." She's saying if we keep consuming the way that we are, we're not going to have anything left to consume. She brings back the productive nature of emotion when she says, "My tears can be rain, I will water the ground where I stand, so the flowers can grow back again." If she's a tree, then maybe her warriors are flowers. On a meta level, her music is the productive way she channels her pain to help herself and other people. The final track, track number 11, is Mothership, and this song is pretty sparse lyrically. She says, "You are home, in it the world will not hurt, the good ones always die, so that is why we bring them here." As with many conclusions to albums, books, movies, a lot of media in general, we have an optimistic, heavenly ending that is complicated by the suggestion that the good came only after death. Of course, heaven signifies good, but it also connotes death. It's sort of like the optimism of Dancing on the Moon. Is this happiness or is it numbness? Either way, she's inviting her listeners who might feel different or alienated into a world, a community in which they are accepted. She is embracing them and encouraging them to resist complacency and to pursue love and emotion and a brighter future. So that's my breakdown of A Different Kind of Human Step 2. As always, let me know in the comments down below if you have any requests for music I should react to, or any other video topics you'd like to see me cover. Please subscribe to be here when I post new videos every week. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time, that's it.